Montreal-based sisters Helen and Billie Bitzas are simplifying all of our favorite Greek recipes with their food blog, Mia Kouppa, and Helen and Billie join me to chat all about it. Hi.
Hi, nice for having us on.
Thank you so much for joining me today. So you both started Mia Kouppa to take the guessing out of Greek cooking. Tell me a little bit about that.
Why don't you start, Helen?
Well, we started our website as a way of simplifying and a way of actually capturing our parents' recipes, because ourselves, like so many other people of immigrant parents, have our parents don't cook with recipes. They don't cook with a standardized unit of measure. So when I would ask them, or Billy would ask them, what is the recipe for meat sauce? They're like, oh, you take, a little bit of oil, onions if you have it, some tomato, 1 cup of tomato sauce. And it was just very vague, very unsuccessful. And we decided together that we would start this project simply almost like a personal project. We wanted to just capture our parents' recipes, record it in a blog, because it's a perfect way to actually, record these recipes so we could keep it forever. And it just grew into something that we couldn't even imagine. And Mia Kouppa is a term, it means 1 cup, and is a term that we hear in our parents' kitchen all the time. Mia Kouppa of Laldi, Mia Kouppa of Nero. It's, bring me the Mia Kouppa.
Yeah.
And it means 1 cup.
Right. And there's always the question, of course, is how big is the cup? What do you need exactly to
it's like,
to get the recipe right? Yeah. Well, just as we've been saying, though, I feel like your parents are really at the heart of this project as well. And as much as food is about the recipes, it's also about the memories and the story behind those recipes. So what has it been like for you both working with your parents on this project as well?
It's been really special, I have to say. We always say that nostalgia is delicious, and it really is. What we have learned through our parents, through cooking with our parents, in fact, has been not just the recipes and their kitchen wisdom, but also so many stories that we thought we knew our parents really well. And I think most people probably imagine that they know their parents really well, but we tend to know them as parents. And when you start to listen to their stories, you start to learn about what they were like as children and what they were like as teenagers and young adults. And it's really been an incredible avenue for us to become closer to our parents and to really appreciate their own history quite a bit more. And for them, I think it's given them an opportunity to do, somewhat of a life review almost. They talk about things they hadn't thought of in years. And they get so excited to know that we're interested in learning about what it was like in the Horio, what it was like at school. And we knew some of that, but certainly not to the depth that we've come to know it over the past few years.
And that's what makes cooking with our parents and our grandparents, I think, so special as well, is that it always leads to that other conversation that's always connected to the food. So in following your parents around the kitchen to measure all of these recipes, has it become easier for you both to cook metomati?
It has for me, definitely, because well, even when we cook with them and I see that they're pouring a little bit of oil, and I know exactly what that measurement is. I don't even have to, there's times where I catch myself not even measuring, because I know exactly it's a 1/4 cup. I know this is 1 teaspoon, and that has helped a lot. But for them, they still are amazed that we need to do this. And we keep telling them we need to do it, because we need to tell the people who are, would like to make these recipes, they would like to know actual measurements. They can't, they don't know how to make this food. So it's still challenging to them even at this point on.
And it's a beautiful initiative that you both have going, because it's also about preserving these recipes for the next generation as well. So Helen and Billie, since starting Mia Kouppa, you have gained 20,000 followers on Instagram, and you've even had a shout out from Chrissy Teigen. So what has it been like for you both to build a community through Mia Kouppa?
I think you really hit the nail on the head, Tina. It is a community, and that's really what we aspired to do right from the beginning. We wanted people who follow us and use our recipes to feel a real sense of belonging in Mia Kouppa, and it's been wonderful. We've had messages from people from all across the globe, really, telling us that they see themselves and their families in our stories, that our cooking reminds them of yayas. Really heartfelt messages of people who didn't have the opportunity to preserve their own family recipes. And so they're so grateful to have our family recipes to fall back on, many of which are very familiar to the stuff they grew up on. So it's been a steady kind of committed road ahead. We value every single one of our followers. They're all authentic, engaged people that we love being on this journey with.
And what's the ultimate dish do you think someone should make if they're just starting on their cooking journey?
I think I have a couple in mind. I think for me, I think the spaghetti with meat sauce would be one of them. It's such a super easy recipe, and whoever has been to Greece, they will definitely recognize this meal. And it's one of the reasons we actually started Mia Kouppa, is because I really wanted this recipe. I was never able to replicate it. I think it's super easy, and I think it'll be a great starting point. Nice. Also, fagues, eh, Billie?
Yes, fagues is a classic. Yeah,
fagues is a classic.
Yeah, fagues is a classic. It's easy. It's inexpensive. But I think I would be a little more ambitious, and I would say moussaka, because that's the recipe we started our blog with.
Our first post.
And, our very first post. And I think that I'm proud of the way that we published that recipe, because it can be an intimidating recipe to try.
Yes.
Because there are so many steps, right? But when you break it down, each step is actually not that complicated. And if you organize yourself and plan it, you can be very proud of the end result, which is very doable for even a novice home cook. And if you've made moussaka, you can make anything.
Yeah. Exactly. A lot of these recipes too, I get what you're saying. Organization is key. That's something my mom always tells me. Make sure you have everything ready first, and then you start cooking. Do you remember what was the first dish that you two ever made?
Like in our lives?
Yeah.
Well, I remember when we were younger, our parents would work into the evening. So our mom would often start supper, and we would be responsible for finishing it off so that dinner was ready when they came home. And if we were hungry, we were able to eat before they got home. And I remember coquinisto. I don't know if you remember that, Helen. I remember many pots of burnt coquinisto.
Yes.
Because do you remember?
Because we would leave the kitchen.
But that's one of my earliest memories of cooking.
Yeah, chicken and potatoes too. It's another one.
That's another classic for sure. Yeah. All of these are really comforting dishes too, I find.
Fantastic.
What has been, do you think, the most rewarding thing for you both? I know that we've talked about this a little bit, but what's been the most rewarding thing for you both since starting Mia Kouppa?
I think for me, one of the most exciting moments was being recognized by the Saveur magazine and being nominated for their category Best Food Culture Blog. We've read the Saveur magazine for years, even before having, starting Mia Kouppa. And it was such a thrill to go and be part of it and to be recognized by our peers and by the magazine, and to meet all the wonderful food bloggers. David Libovich was one of them, Deb from Smitten Kitchen. It has all been such a wild ride, having Nia Dallos follow us and giving us shout outs, Chrissy Teigen, appearing on TV, on radio, being on TV. Actually, it's been wonderful, beyond our expectations, and much more to come, I hope, in the future.
Yeah, I echo what Helen says. All of that has been just, we sometimes, speak on the phone and we kind of look at each other, or, if we're face to face, and we kind of laugh and think this is like a bit nuts. But at the same time, although all of that is wonderful, it's also incredibly special to get messages from people, really meaningful messages to say, thanks, thanks to you, I tasted my mother's, risotto.
Exactly. It's the best
Or
feeling.
it's incredible to know that we're touching people from all over. That's the wonderful thing about the internet, right? And that we're connecting with people, and that people appreciate all of the work that we put into our blog, because although we don't take ourselves necessarily that seriously, we know who we are. We're not chefs, we're not professional writers or photographers. So we don't take ourselves that seriously. We do take the blog very seriously. And so all of the work that we put into it, to have it recognized and appreciated, is it's special, and it really means a lot to us.
Another thing that I find,
thank you.
Sorry, another thing that I found with starting this blog that's just been incredible is the time that we've spent with our parents. The special moments, and even the time that I've spent with my sister. I would never give any of those moments up for anything. It's been just fantastic. And like Billie said, the people that have reached out to us, it's such a good feeling.
I get what you mean. I have a sister too, and some of our best memories have been experimenting in the kitchen and cooking all of our favorite recipes. So I really connected to your page and really love what you two are doing. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me.
Thank you so much for having us on. It's been very, very sweet of you.
Thank you. And be sure to follow Helen and Billie on social. That's at Mia Kouppa.